decided you put people this bit down and then the scavengers don't get them up again. And that probably stuck from ages ago. The downside to this is motorcycles are attractive because they are lightweight and they have a really good power to weight ratio. And under those circumstances, diesel does not fit those criteria. Diesel engines weigh twice to 3 times as much as petrol engines because they have to be built to much higher tolerances because the compression in a diesel engine is really, really high. And as a result of that, you have to use thicker bits of metal and stronger materials to withstand that. And so weight is an issue. If you've got more weight on board, then the machine is harder to control, it's less agile. And although the diesel engine is going to be a lot more efficient in the long run, and therefore I've seen people build quads for farms and that kind of thing using one, they're quite slow and the acceleration is lower. And although they're very torquey, they've got lots of power at low speeds in the engine. That's not really what you want from a motorcycle. You need agile performance in order to make them maneuverable and to give them the attractive things, the features that they have. So while it is perfectly possible to make a diesel motorbike, I think the market would be relatively small. I'm sure someone's done it, but the quad bikes that were made to run on diesel with the farm market in mind didn't really take off, either physically or metaphorically. They weren't that popular, and I think that's the reason really. They're quite slow and sluggish and quite noisy as well, and it just wasn't worth it.
All right, thank you so much, Henk, for your question. Sandile in Tembisa, hi.
Hi guys, how are you guys?
Good, thanks, and you?
I'm good, thanks. My question is for Chris. I just wanted to have more information regarding the James Webb Telescope and the fact that it orbits nothing. How is it possible?
Just repeat that again, Sandile.
I know what you mean. It's in a Lagrange point, isn't it? That's what you're referring to, is that the James Webb Telescope is parked in space, and it's parked in such a way that it's not moving. Now, what they've done, these so-called Lagrange points, are points of gravitational balance where the tug they get in one direction from, say, the sun, and the tug they get in another direction from the Earth, they balance each other out so that the telescope is effectively staying static in space. So rather than it have to park itself, use fuel to move around and get a changing sort of skyscape, it can stare easily in a direction you're pointing it in, and it doesn't disturb itself and it doesn't get pulled around or move around. And those are called Lagrange points, these points of gravitational neutrality.
Thank you so much, Sandile, for that question. Julian Boxberg, hi.
Hi, hello.
Yes, go ahead, Julia.
How are black holes formed?
Thank you, Julia.
Julia, the answer to your question is black holes are points in space with a huge mass that's so great it deforms the fabric of space so that not even light can escape, because when light goes past something big, it bends, and black holes bend space so much that the light cannot escape. They normally form when something very, very massive, in other words, with a lot of stuff in it, collapses in on itself, and usually that means a giant star. So one way in which black holes form is from early on in the universe, when there were enormous stars like our sun, but 1 million times our sun. When they get to the end of their life, they collapse in on themselves because the nuclear reaction that's blowing the sun up and puffing it up like a balloon, it stops working, and so the whole material races inwards and thunders into this catastrophic collapse, and that leaves behind a black hole. And so the answer is a star died to make a black hole.
All right, let's take a break. We're going to come and come back to the lines on 011-883-0702 and the WhatsApp messages as well, 072-702-1702, when we come back. Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
We're just so proud of you, and we knew that you could do it.
Coming up on the next Clement Maniatella show, we will be coming to you live from OR Tambo International Airport as we welcome back the champions of Africa. Banyana Banyana are bringing the Women's Africa Cup of Nations trophy home. They were crowned on Saturday, defeating the hosts Morocco. We will be there to welcome and celebrate them. Come join us.
Well done, Banyana Banyana.
Clement Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702. Clement Maniatella.
And we get the lady there. And then when we've been drinking, I'm ordering a ride. It's only 180 rand.
Yeah, so?
Or do you want to spend the weekend in jail? Yeah?
No.
Or end up in an emergency room but live with one leg? Hmm? Do you know the price of tombstones, Joe? Is that what you want your mother to go through?
Those are actually facts, my friend.
Exactly.
Getting behind the wheel after drinking has more consequences than you think. That's why, as SAB, we're asking you to make the wise choice. Have none for the road and be sharp.
Imagine a seed falling onto dry earth and instantly transforming into a 60-year-old tree, proud, full, and flourishing. This is the world of investment. Or is it? Isn't it time you change how you see investing? At 91, we believe that when it comes to investing your hard-earned money, it's not cliches you need, it's results. Partner with an investment manager with a proven track record, even during turbulent times. Speak to your financial advisor today. 91, investing for a world of change. 91 is an authorized FSP.
Guys, it's the Crazy Store's 25th birthday. You ready?
Happy birthday to us. We've got toy dolls and trucks.
And for baby, a toy stacking set and treats for your pets.
A picture frame for the wall, killer candles and much more. We've got variety so grand, all under 50 rand. The Crazy Store. Hey, we're still crazy after 25 years.
702.
The Naked Scientist. We're still with Dr. Chris Smith, the Naked Scientist. 011-883-0702 and the WhatsApp line 0727021702. Let's go to Thomas in Tembisa. Hi, Thomas.
Hello, and then yes, I'm just wanting to confirm about the lunar eclipse and solar eclipse. I just want to know, how do they know that they are going to take place in a certain year, date, and time?
Okay. Doctor, did you get that?
I couldn't understand the first bit of the question.
So the lunar and solar eclipses, how do you know that when exactly they're going to take place?
Ah, right, okay. Well, because the Earth is following a predictable pattern around the sun, we know what the Earth's orbit is, and we know how the moon moves around the Earth. We can plot and therefore predict its course with great accuracy. You can calculate with some maths exactly when the two are going to coincide, because we know what the path of the sun is because of the Earth going around the sun, we know what the path of the moon is, and you can run your simulation of one moving relative to the other forward in time until you reach a point where you know that relative to a certain point on the Earth's surface, the two are going to overlap and you're going to see an eclipse.
All right, let's quickly go to the WhatsApp messages. One says, good afternoon, Lieutenant Dr. Chris. I'd like to know what would happen if 1 million liters of liquid nitrogen was poured on top of an active volcano that's about to erupt. That's from Thomas in Stinkwater.
Hello, Thomas. The answer to this one is liquid nitrogen is at about minus 200 degrees C. A hot erupting volcano is probably in the region of about 4,000 C. So there's a lot more energy in the volcano than there is in the liquid nitrogen, but the liquid nitrogen would have the effect of cooling down some of the rock temporarily that was erupting out of the volcano. So it would rob energy away from the hot rock. This would turn the nitrogen liquid into gas very, very quickly. And when you turn liquid into a gas, it gets about 1,000 times bigger. So I would predict if you took 1 million litres of liquid nitrogen and you put that in a volcano, in probably a fraction of a second, you would probably get 1 billion litres of nitrogen gas. So in other words, quite explosive release of gas. And it would come out very, very fast and very, very hot, which would probably cause an explosion around the volcano. but it would cool the rock down in the process, and that might then cause some trapping of more volcanic gases underneath, which would then belch out and split apart and make another sort of volcanic explosion underneath. So that would be the answer. You would basically turn the liquid nitrogen into nitrogen gas in a very fast rate of time and cause an explosion.
All right, the next question that comes through is from Mbex in Pretoria, who says, can you please ask Dr. Chris, is it possible to trap lightning and convert it into electricity? And their second question, why is rainfall measured in millimeters instead of milliliters like all other liquids?
Well, on the rainfall measurement idea, the point